The Ladybird Book of The Nerd. This is a nerd. He has a PhD and works in the biochemistry lab of a university hospital. But this is not what makes him a nerd. His catalogued and indexed collection of over 6,000 empty crisp packets does that. Wilbur has been waiting all his life to see this long-lost Doctor Who story, Inheritance of the Worgons. The episodes have been lovingly restored so that the sound and image are as good as they were in 1969. Unfortunately, so are the plot, budget and pacing. The BBC plans to lose all the recent series of Doctor Who so that nerds will like them too. Gwadlis is determined to win an argument about the name of Ethelflad's second favourite horse. She has spent 4 hours in the library trying to find a source that agrees with her, but has had no luck. She will now start an argument with the librarians about the quality of their stock. She will not win that one either. Weird names. This comic meet is taking place at a convention centre in Leicester. There's only cream flow bitter on tap, or Foster's. Ogden, Winston and Juliet are smuggling bottles of craft ale into the centre under the cover of darkness. If the other convention goers spot them, they will be killed for their booty. Everyone at work knows that Helen is a Star Wars nerd. My big thing Star Wars is, yes. That was my Yoda impression. Excuse the nerd. Star Wars is one of the defining cultural phenomena of the last 100 years and has been seen by over 1 billion people. Oliver has been painting this elven paladin miniature for the last 6 months. He looks at the rest of the unpainted chess set. There are an awful lot of pawns. This is a toy shop. It has models of robots and superheroes. There are cars and dollies and fun things about popular television programmes and cartoons and films. You can tell it's a toy shop and not a hobby shop because the members of staff do not have any piercings and their t-shirts do not look as though they've been through the wash 1,000 times. Basil Brush. Jenna has given up writing cyberpunk fan fiction because the field is too crowded and the fan comments are too mainstream. Her 15th century wickerpunk reboot of Firefly is proving to have a reassuringly niche appeal. The latest OS update has a few bugs, says Nico. And I don't much like the new font, says Tom. Me neither, says Toby. Craig says nothing. He still uses Netscape Navigator 1.0 because it has never been bettered. He will insist, if you ask him, which you shouldn't. His weekly blog about still using Netscape Navigator 1.0 is available by mail order, as Netscape Navigator 1.0 will no longer connect to the internet. For his art project, Garth has taken the JPEGs of his weekend in Snowdonia and transferred them to colour slides. He will then project the slides onto a screen and film the results on a vintage 16mm cine camera, before choosing still frames from the developed film, scanning them and showing the finished JPEGs on an iPad. Garth tends to eat yellow food. Amanda is making costumes for World Book Day at Violet and Harry's school. If anyone asks, Amanda tells the children, say you are Wasp from the Avengers and Violator from the Spawn universe. Amanda has a well-rehearsed speech about how comics count as books. Someone will probably enjoy this. Hands up if it's you. Horatio has been up all night correcting the Wikipedia page for a 1968 Gerry Anderson TV pilot that was wiped in 1973. He is happy to see that the page is now slightly longer than the page for the Crimean War. Wanda and Ed met at work. They share many enthusiasms, like the music of They Might Be Giants and the film Napoleon Dynamite. One night they sit by the river watching shooting stars. Wanda remarks on how romantic it is. Ed replies by talking for 15 minutes about meteor showers, especially the Condradids and the Leonids. He is very clever. Condradids? What does... Oh. Condrantids and the Leonids. He is very clever. Ed will never notice the way Wanda looks at him. I'm keeping these bloopers in because I can't be bothered doing it again. Gibby at his brother-in-law's house fixing the broadband again. Gibby has tried to explain that just because he's really into J.R.R. Tolkien, that does not mean he knows anything about computers. But his brother-in-law tends to glaze over after the second R. The Leighton Buzzard Modelling Collective are building a working model of a battle mech from an anime series that was recently cancelled. It's not for a convention or a competition. They are planning to take over the Earth. They will then force the channel to make more episodes. From the age of 4, Zoe insisted to her teachers that she did not want to learn cursive script, as she preferred her handwriting to be in Helvetica. Des and Ludwig met in 2007 on a Big Bang Theory fan forum. Since then, they have not said more than 11 words to each other that have not been quotes from the programme. Des and Ludwig are the best of friends. Travis is at a science fiction convention. He is dressed as the audiobook version of Paul McGann. Everyone at the convention recognises his outfit and smiles. He shows a photo of his costume to some people at work. Who are you meant to be? Him off changing rooms, they ask. Travis wishes that being at conventions was his job. Denham is going on the Million Apostrophe March. The march was meant to take place 3 months ago, but it has taken some time for all the placards to be proofread by a council of grammar elders. Roddy is a nerd. He likes Star Trek and programming his Raspberry Pi, but does not like football. He will be mercilessly teased for the next 10 years by people who will eventually earn a quarter of what Roddy earns at CERN. Revenge is a dish best served cold. Roddy knows this. It's an old Klingon proverb. These nerds have paid money to see a film they think is terrible and have seen at least 30 times before. They are having the most fun they can possibly have. Nerds don't just like science fiction, they like science too. This electron microscope has been designed to detect the tiny imperceptible differences between the plots of Star Wars A New Hope and Star Wars The Force Awakens. Count up to 10, says Aunt's teacher. 8, 5, 4, 9, 1, 7, 6, 10, 3, 2, says Aunt. The teacher tries to correct him, but Aunt points out that the numbers are in alphabetical order, just like the letters in his name are. She will probably not ask Aunt to count up to 100.